Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching The Witcher Season 2, Episode 3, What is Lost. I am loving Season 2 so far. It's making me really, really happy, but I'm also like, I'm very stressed for the characters too, somehow. It's a mix. What is Lost makes me think currently of Yennefer, but then also Geralt and Ciri have lost a lot in their lives as well, and I'm just excited to keep going. The elves have lost everything, God. I'm just excited to keep going, so yes, a reminder that if you are watching this on YouTube, you can find the unedited version of this reaction and all of my reactions on my Patreon. 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance. I'm just really excited, sorry, let's go. There's our girl. Building up her strength and her technique. Practice. You're getting there.
Fresh tomorrow.
I could do it.
Ciri, don't push yourself. It's okay.
You need rest.
Hunger makes for good sauce.
Also makes for shitty lunches.
Ciri?
Ciri.
Was that a vision of like Yennefer or the demon thing?
Would you call a witcher with no brains?
Lambert?
Both of me on the medallion tree.
He would never have killed him if there was another choice, and his brother should know that.
How could any of us have known?
Because we told you.
Yeah.
I am not here to glorify my part in our victory in Sodom.
What is wrong with, what is his truth here?
Elves are not our enemy.
They've already aligned with Nilfgaard, proving what many of us have known for centuries. They cannot be trusted.
They're fighting to survive?
If we don't 14 mages then.
13.
Oh.
Yenna.
Oh. She made it home. Changed, I'm sure, but home.
Stregobor is
A fuckhead.
desperate,
A desperate fuckhead.
which makes him dangerous.
Because you and Vilgefortz are making a play for their seats.
We know it's dangerous, but this is not the time to be weak. It's the time to be strong.
Don't trust Vilgefortz.
The North has turned against the elves completely.
It wasn't that far to turn.
Yes, but you should know our immigration simply has inflamed tensions.
With Nilfgaard, who will protect us.
But anyone that doesn't escape will be killed.
Human to give out of the kindness of his...
Where Ithilien wanted us.
You know it wasn't Ithilien.
Meet.
What did you do then?
Oh, God.
I don't think so. Some things are far too scary for little girls.
Ciri, don't let them get to
I'm
you.
not afraid.
Come on then.
Ciri! Listen to Geralt. Like, I feel like that's a good foundational step, and I don't necessarily think Witcher training protocols were very ethical or healthy or good. Jesus Christ. How little were they when they did this? And had they had training of some kind beforehand? Jesus. She's resourceful, but she's also, you know...
Go on.
You do it first. Show her how it's done. Siwana is taking out his anger at Geralt for saving Vesemir's life on Ciri. You made it one step further than I would have. She shouldn't have to go through this alone.
We heard you.
Oh, they're both okay.
Word spread fast.
They've been through so much.
Come on.
So do you. Oh, the water's perfect.
They seem to be carrying the deepest wounds from the battle.
She slaughtered nobility.
Is this a false tale or an altered tale for his own personal gain?
That's not true.
But history does have a way of repeating itself, doesn't it?
She saved everybody, you stupid old man who murders
I
children.
was there when I've always tried to protect our institutions, to protect you.
Sometimes institutions need to change, to adapt.
To say is that no one is ever what they see.
Including you and Vilgefortz.
What's lost is lost. Not dead. I have to find a new way forward.
You will. You both will. How many times has she tried this? Ciri is nothing if not stubborn. Good. A delicate little princess would have given up. I mean, hell, I would have given up. How are you supposed to do this bit? That's what I would want to know. Like, what? Yep.
Admit it. You belong in a castle, not our keep.
Your keep is a fucking castle. That's what a keep is. Ciri, you belong with Geralt, okay? Wherever he goes. And also, I cannot get over the fact that he lives in a fucking castle. He should have had a palace.
What will it cost me?
It's just you still not know.
We are looked upon as imperialists. People, they see our black armor and they assume that we are here to destroy the world.
You do! You've burnt people. You've slaughtered people.
To feed. To house. To liberate.
Then why are you murdering so many people?
The Deathless Mother may have brought us together. But you can trust me.
You can't trust her.
I want a home for my people.
Yennefer.
Was he communicating with his true
Staying out from underfoot. Glad to say it's
master?
I wish they...
Was he visiting with him? Fringilla's just taken over in his absence. Oh no, he's not. She's taken over the army. She's not bothering to try and rescue him.
What's the hurry, my dear?
What is it with men lurking about this place?
Startled you. So
You don't get to touch her. Bastard.
I always pegged you as a pervert.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never demean myself with the likes of you.
Jesus.
Brother, if you don't want to chat about your true intentions, I'll be forced to use a method your dear Tisea has grown so fond of.
Oh god.
That's more like it.
Good. Kill him while you're at it. Oops, he bumped his head and now he's dead.
You will answer to this.
Good. As he fucking should. After he murdered all those girls and...
I'm sorry for Eskel.
It's not your fault.
Geralt,
Is she still
see
trying?
this?
Is she succeeding at it now? Because she doesn't let anything stop her.
And I'm not gonna steady your legs and breathe.
Oh my god, now he's helping her do it! Now, like, he's impressed by her tenacity and the fact that she's still going for it. I'm proud of her. I'm so proud of her. I love that even he's cheering her on now. Yes, yes, yes. How much more is there? Oh yes, she decided to do this all by herself. Oh, don't get distracted. You can do this. I'm sure he knows what it is to be a proud parent and a concerned parent. Oof. She gets up. God. She basically did it.
So close.
You have reason against one of our
Sorry.
own.
I love that he didn't tell her off. He didn't say he was proud of her for getting most of the way. He just...
Think of that.
And tell them the truth.
What?
She knows. You still matter so much.
Without it, I'm nothing.
You're Yennefer.
You have been trying to fill a void. Power couldn't do it, even when you had it at your fingertips. What makes you think it's the answer now?
Because it's all I have left!
Geralt was a man with a child that came looking for you.
Want to be a great fighter. And not just against sacks of straw.
I have known many who wanted to be great fighters in my time. Do you know where they are now?
Dead.
In cemeteries.
It is hard to parent a teenager, Geralt. You're doing your best. Is the Lech coming? Was it trying to take that?
But I trust you.
I'm not a spy.
I'm leaving for Sintra tomorrow.
Fuck, he is.
Migrating to help people
Like me.
Oh, she let her go so Yennefer would go back and beg to have it back.
It's like I'm being pulled.
Pulled towards what?
I don't know.
Where would it take you?
Holy shit.
What?
I think you've inherited that power. Or something like it.
Oh. He knows. She's gonna get dragged along the ground at some point. Holy shit, I think we're close too. Yeah, that's what she saw! Holy shit!
Run!
Holy shit. Something was using Leshy? Remember your training, sweetheart. Oh god. Why does it want her? Can it sense her power? Scream? Screaming works! It kind of looked like it was offering her his hand.
Less than perfect means death.
Sir Laszlo will be proud.
Absolution.
Mine.
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 Our most trusted advisors are becoming less and less trustworthy.
When did you ever trust them? This is, I mean, I don't agree with execution. He has committed a lot of crimes. I wouldn't cry tears over it. But this is just for their enjoyment at this point. Yennefer, I love you. I support you whatever you do, but what are you going to do? Oh, Lord. It's too easy for him to just die like this. Or is it? Yennefer? Chaos reigns. Fuck him.
Come on then.
Jesus Christ, Yennefer!
Why save me?
He's hunting your stepdaughter.
I'm saving me.
Oh, now they're all gonna think she's evil. And he's hunting your stepdaughter. That was such a good episode. These episodes, I know they're like an hour long, but I genuinely, when I was towards like the midpoint of that, I was kind of like, am I on the 4th episode now? So good. I'll start with Yennefer because that's how it ended. And her return to Aretuza after she had spent a month searching for any kind of other cure. And she's not yet given in to the mother without a home. To the mother. She hasn't given in to her yet, it would seem. She's still holding strong. She hasn't said those words that she's been told yet. And And she's still, you know, she's not wrong, and she never was wrong. That there are problems within Aretusa, there are problems within the Brotherhood of Mages. It is not a perfect system, it's quite a corrupt system, it's quite an abusive system. So she was never wrong in her decision to leave. Yes, God, Yennefer has made some mistakes, every single character has, they're mostly human. But, and people like Strigobor are outdated conservative concepts that we should be moving forward from. You know, he wouldn't rape her or whatever because she's part elf. Like, oh great, thanks, you know. I'm part elf too, by the way. Just, you know, I dislike Strigobor, obviously you're supposed to ever since the first episode. You know, the whole lesser of two evils deal that was going on there. But knowing that he killed a lot of young girls without knowing, like I almost feel like if he were to hear about Ciri, he would kill her. Because, like, what if she's more powerful than me? And his girl, that would definitely be like a powerful woman is threatening to him. For Tissaia, she is so on the other side that while yes, she's done a lot of these things, enabled a lot of these things, she's not as backwards thinking as he is. My biggest fear is Vogelfall, because he woke up and just killed someone on his own side. And then since then we've seen him wandering around the battlefield like finishing off Nilfgaardians, and he wants to rule the Brotherhood. And was he down there talking to Kahir, Amir, I don't know, was he down there talking to someone else? He definitely has ulterior motives, and I'm not right now certain whether those are Nilfgaardian motives or whether those are his own personal motives, that maybe he has his own deal going on with the whole prophecy thing or whatever, but it is really, really stressful. And for Yennefer, I really, really loved that moment where it was just the four girls reuniting. I didn't recognise one of them, I can't lie. But, you know, three of them had been through the battle. I thought Sabrina might have died, so I'm quite glad to see that she's alive, because as much as she was a bit of a snooty girl to begin with, she ended up to die. And seeing her and Yennefer be close, and seeing Triss is still struggling with her scars, but I think it's more than just the physical scars. It's the mental scars of that battle, of everything they went through. They are all forever changed by that battle. You can't not be. These things that happen leave wounds on our souls as well as on our bodies, and she's still healing from both. I'm intrigued about where she left. She was called away this morning. Now, was that because she couldn't face going back to Sodden with all the memories it would hold? Or was that because she genuinely was called away? Has she run off to Nilfgaard as well? I can't imagine she would have done that, but I'm very intrigued about Triss and where she is and what she's doing and her character. But it was really beautiful to see Yennefer have that moment of just, you know, sisterly solidarity with her fellow mages. It's something that I think Aretusa could do with, if it was really promoting a brotherhood, sisterhood vibe, it would be a much healthier place for these young powered people. And for Tissaia to immediately, well, first of all, for her and Istrid to see that Yennefer's alive, and then for Tissaia she knew all along that Yennefer had lost her magic, and that as far as she knew there was no way to get it back. And I almost feel like, I can't imagine Yennefer staying without magic, if that makes sense, you know, as a character, from a taking myself out of the show a little bit, I can't imagine her staying that way. And even within the show, even with kind of it just within the world, it is so intrinsically a part of Yennefer. Part of me thinks it would be good if she could spend a decent amount of time without magic and come to accept herself without it, come to love herself without it, come to think, I am me, I matter, I have a great worth, even though I don't have magic, and then get it back, and then be like, cool, bonus. But I don't know, I feel like she may make a deal with the devil in order to get back her magic, and then have to work to undo the consequences of her actions. But she's still very, very much alone. You know, Aretusa has never really been a home to her. There are parts of it that are, you know, Tissaia ultimately prove that she does care very deeply for Yennefer. She has friends, a sort of sisterhood, but there are other sinister forces that prowl around corridors and just attack you, that will never trust her simply because she's a quarter elf. It's ridiculous. And, you know, it plays into those age-old prejudices that I think really do mirror things in our real world, and that's what they're intended to do. But I said a lot in my previous reactions that I honestly don't know what the answer is when it comes to the elves, how we can resolve it. I mean, definitely I believe we should resolve it and we should give them land, but you kind of, then there's the danger of getting into the like Israel-Palestine situation, where the concept wasn't a bad one, but the execution was horrific, and the fact that it's still going on to this day is causing all sorts of problems. This is not what this is about. Like, I think like it is just such a difficult point to be on, and especially as, understandably so, I don't think the elves are going to think, oh, can we just integrate with your society? Because of course not. They're going to You know, I would love the idea of a world where one day they could be at peace with humans and kind of there could be no animosity between the two, but they're going to want to rebuild an elf homeland because that's what was taken from them. So do we pick a country like Sintra, which is, sorry Ciri, essentially, you know, it's lost its rulers, as far as they're aware, because she's not been seen since. They probably assume she's dead because you wouldn't assume a little princess would survive as long as she has, because they don't know Ciri. I could see them almost saying, oh, why don't you have Sintra or Zintria, however they phrased it, or something like that, and then the few surviving humans could be assimilated into other territories, but it would be a huge mess regardless. And definitely, I'm kind of branching away from Yennefer, I will come back to her. By allying with Nilfgaard, it's definitely true what Filavandrel was saying, that they have declared openly themselves now as enemies of the other kingdoms. And obviously they were being abused and mistreated and oppressed by the other kingdoms, so it's not like that's a huge loss, but it is a huge decision, and it will have ripped open those wounds and flared up hatred against elves. If maybe things have been dying down for people, that will be all the worse now. And obviously it seems as though quite recently Filavandrel had launched an attack against Sintra after what Geralt had said, and that's when Dara lost his family and all kind of those. I mean, I think that may have been a reprisal attack, but you know, it was in that kind of situation. Things haven't been great for a long time, but choosing to ally with a force that is trying to conquer all the others, you've instead of kind of making the elves a separate issue or making it just be like, we are just fighting for our own freedom, they're now part of this conquering army. And Nilfgaard is such an interesting concept, the way they phrase it, because the people that live there genuinely do apparently seem to be happy. The people they've conquered seem to think, we have food, we are great, but how many people were murdered so those few could have the food? It's not worth it, you know. Even murdering the royal families, I get that this is, I mean, it's not medieval because it's fantasy, but you know, I get that it's a more medieval society where executions and things are far more common than they are nowadays, but like, I think murdering all of the family and all of the nobles and just people in the street. I mean, they came to the refugee camp when they were looking for Ciri and when they were hunting down Cintran refugees, and they just slaughtered everybody in the refugee camp. They weren't like, hey, cool, Cintrans, chill, you know, we're just going to rule you, but you can come back to your homes now. They were quite aggressive with that, and that wasn't only nobles in that camp, because Ciri ended up with some sort of wealthy merchant people, but there were poorer people and everything. So they've got quite an aggressive attitude, and then whenever anyone accuses them, like, you just came into those people's homes and took over and said, we're doing things better now, and then you go, no, but we are doing things better now, we're helping them. It's got a real colonial ring to it, and maybe, unlike modern world colonialism, they genuinely are managing to help people, but there's an ulterior goal here, and it's at what cost? Istrid is going to join them as well, which, when we last saw him, that kind of, he was within their territory. You had to register yourself to them or something, didn't you, to be in that territory as a mage, and he seemed to have, as he spoke with the people who agree with the ideals of Nilfgaard, he does too. And it's just stressful. And I don't know what... So Yennefer, that seemed to say, kind of said she knew she didn't have magic and she couldn't help her, and that Yennefer wasn't nothing without it. It was really special, and I hope Yennefer can grow and try and learn on that a little bit. I do wonder whether she might not get her magic back sooner or late, I don't know. But I'm worried for her. I'm worried for her mental health and her belief in herself and just her place in this world, because had she gone to the council and said, look, I'm not a threat, I don't have magic, that's why it took me a long time to come back. We're lucky that Strigobor didn't get to that point in her memories in that sense, you know. Some would have seen that as a weakness, as a chance, oh great, we can take her out now, she's not a threat, we can get rid of her. I keep wanting to call I can't say his name anymore, Strigobor. His name is literally, I just said it and I'm like, what is his name? He would probably have said, oh, she's not a mage, kick her out, she shouldn't be here. You know, I think it would have made her position very unsafe. But obviously what she chose to do made her position very unsafe, but it was on her terms. She chose to make her position unsafe. She chose to leave and be alone. And I think even were she to want to find Geralt, I don't exactly know how she would. And obviously, I'm not, and again, me saying that isn't necessarily me being like, oh yeah, but we'd want to find her boyfriend. I mean that more of someone that she could ally with, someone that she could work with, build something with, help her find a way to get her magic back, etc. Because I think she can trust Geralt even if she's cross with him about the wish or doesn't necessarily trust their emotions together. But yeah, freeing him. I mean, I could get doing that as a distraction, like she did, but then freeing him and going on the run with him, that definitely sends a bad message. That definitely sends a message that she is loyal to Nilfgaard. And is she loyal to Nilfgaard? I don't think so. Could she potentially go with him to Sintra and try and become a spy from the inside, just like somehow, and get information back that could help stop them? Or is she just gonna like leave him at a crossroads and be like, good luck? Obviously we will find out. I don't think she's ideologically agreeing with Nilfgaard, but I also, because she was very big on the whole let's stop this, but I also know that she can see the cracks within the Brotherhood, and hopefully this action, when they were supposed to be presenting a unified front to the kings who were already doubting their mages, might topple Strigobor and Vogelfall's kind of power a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what it will do with mages in the kingdom. But I'm just... This episode, I feel better about Yennefer because she left on her own terms. It wasn't her in despair. It was her, yeah, she's still desperate, but we all have things we're desperate about. We all have things we want desperately or hope to achieve or have lost and grieve over. But she's doing this on her own terms now. Then we have Geralt and Ciri. And Geralt was obviously dealing with having lost a brother and having had to kill his brother. And Lambert blaming him, he wasn't there. He must have had to make difficult decisions as a Witcher in his time. He knows that if Geralt had a choice, he wouldn't have done it. Does he think because they had an argument that day that Geralt therefore would be like, oh well, centuries of brotherhood out the window, stab? Obviously not. He would have done anything else if he could, but he was going to kill Vesemir. He was going to continue to attack them all. That no one was safe while he was there. He was too far gone. If Eskel had told them sooner, maybe they could have done something, but it had gone too far at that point. And if Vesemir can forgive him, so can Lambert. And taking that out on Ciri is childish and ridiculous, you know, trying to push her into doing something that will get her hurt and make her feel bad like she doesn't fit in, you know. She's not a Witcher, and as much as she says she wants to be like a Witcher, she just means she wants to be able to fight. She doesn't want to feel helpless or scared anymore. She wants to be able to feel like if something terrible happens, she can look after herself, and there is nothing wrong with that. The fact that she's training, and even if she's training and you think it's an ineffectual method, the fact that your pretty little princess, as you think she is trying should be something. Lashing out at her isn't going to do anything. But I did really enjoy that eventually her perseverance, the fact that she kept trying on that obstacle course of death, Lambert was then cheering her on and giving her tips. I did enjoy that turnaround, but I do think that revealed just how childish he is. You know, if he was going around being a bitch to Geralt all the time, it would make more sense than going after Ciri. And with Ciri, she is 100%, you know, Geralt needs to... Well, they're both of them, really. They're still figuring each other out. They're still figuring out what their relationship is, how it works, because this is very new to both of them. He is not the kind of parental figure that she's had in the past, and she's spent a good few months surviving with her own wits, with her own decisions, and he has never had a child before. And, you know, normally you'd be kind of raising that child from the very beginning, so you'd have a bit more say as it got older, and I think he does want to protect her, he does want to help her train, but in a way it's almost hard for him to know the best way to train her, because she's that bit more breakable than him, than when people he's trained with, or boys he's helped train, well then actually he never helped train any boys, did he? The sort of the lessons that he knows were used on him, and he wants to try and scale back. And potentially I think the right answer is somewhere in the middle. That obstacle course didn't kill her, it hurt her. I don't think she needed to do it as many times as she did, but she was capable of it. When he said so close was really funny. I think they're getting there with working out the dynamic, but it takes practice, it just takes time, trial and error in a way. They do trust each other. He's finally told her that he knows she has powers, or, you know, he suspects very heavily that she has powers, and it seems as though creatures are drawn to her, because the one in the first episode came to her at night and it didn't attack her or anything, but it just wanted to talk to her, and this one, you know, it seemed as though he was reaching to her. Now maybe he wanted to grab her or something and eat her, I don't know, but he didn't like immediately strike. And it's interesting why they're so drawn to her. It wanted her sash because it smells like her or something. But Geralt has said he knows about her mother, so from that you can infer that he knows she has these powers and that's what's helped keeping her alive. And I'm hoping we're going to slowly but surely reach the point where she can tell him everything that's happened, everything she's experienced with it, and how scared she is with it. Because I think that, like you said, you have to catch the fear, you have to face that fear, and potentially if she is able to accept that these powers are in there and they're part of her, and that there's something that has kept her safe and protected her, that maybe there would be a way she could learn to, if she accepts them, maybe there'll be something she can control, I don't know. But yeah, I'm probably missing things, but I adore this show so much. I love this world. I am not going to watch the books or play any of the games, although I don't overly play that kind of game. I mean, I don't really know why. I think I just used to find them hard when I was a child, so I never started. But I'm not going to read the books or anything until the show is done. That isn't the way I normally prefer to do things. I am normally someone that advocates for reading the books first, but I found the show before I was even properly really aware there were books when I watched the first season. Maybe I kind of knew, but I wasn't overly aware of them. So because the show came first for me, in this one instance, I'm doing the show first. But yeah, I am in love with it. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and thank you so much for watching.